it be awesome to say that you got every ounce out of this life? Wouldn't it be great to know that? But it says those who find it are few. You see, here's what happens is that so many people are on the wide path. And I didn't really know how to illustrate this until one day I was sitting on my back porch, and actually it was my in-laws' house, and they've got one of those blue bug zapper lights on their back porch. You ever seen one of these things? Y'all know what I'm talking about? Now, it never shocks me that, you know, mosquito number one, we'll just call him Emilio for now, all right? He just makes a mistake, bad choice, all right? He just looks at it, it's like, oh, look at the blue light, it's so pretty, you know, and I'm being drawn towards the light, you know, he's gone, right? What shocks me is that old Frank didn't learn from that, though. So Frank thinks that even though that path led to death and destruction, for Emilio, it'll be different for me. And so here goes old Frank flying towards the blue light, and here he flies. Look at the light, it looks so pretty. It's going to be different for me. And the next thing happens to him. But that's not where it ends. Because Lidobi, he looks at it and says, it might have been that way for Emilio, and it might have been that way for Frank, but it's going to be different for me. And he goes, I'm going to fly right into the exact same light, and he flies into the exact same light and becomes the exact same crispy critter that they are. He's mosquito dust after that. That's really all he is. And why? Because the draw of the wide path is strong. And you know what's funny is, this is what will happen. And many of you out there will understand this, and many of you adults, you'll have to kind of fill in the blanks here for your graduate or the person that you're connecting with after we get done with this today. But what they don't understand today is that they think they can choose to put off choosing a path. And you cannot make that decision to put that off. The bottom line is that today you do not have a choice between choosing a path and no path. You've got a choice between the wide path and the narrow path. And to say, I will not choose until after this next 3 months, or I will not choose for another year, in essence, you are choosing the wide path. It is the default path, and it is the path that most people are going to walk down. But Jesus said it here, a few will choose the narrow path. A very few of them will actually choose the narrow path. And it's interesting because where you end up will not be determined by your information or even your intention, but by your application as day by day you choose that direction. You know, this summer we had an interesting event happen on September the 13th. I don't know if you're familiar with September the 13th or not, but that was the day that Hurricane Ike hit Galveston. Have y'all paid much attention to Hurricane Ike? Now, it was an interesting thing. Everybody knew. Anybody here ever heard of Katrina or Rita? Anybody ever heard of those things? All right, most of you? Well, apparently most people in Galveston heard of them too, and so we've got the National Weather Service telling everybody, hey, listen, you need to get out of town. You need to get out of Dodge. This is a bad